Good morning everyone and welcome to my channel English Literature. Today we are going to talk about Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. It is Invisible Man, not the Invisible Man. There is no the is attached at the beginning. So don't get confused with these two novels. The Invisible Man is by H.G. Wells. It is another type of novel. And here it is Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. The time 1940s and early 1950s, and local the deep south and New York City. You can find here it is a New York City, and deep south refers to the southern part of the, from here I think this part, southern part of the USA. Okay, and this part is mostly dependent on the states of this part is mostly dependent on plantation and slavery. Author will know a brief about the author. Afro-American novelist and literary polymath Ralph Waldo Ellison, 1914 to 1994, is best known for this single novel. This novel makes him world famous, Invisible Man. It was published by Random House in 1952, and for this book he won the National Book Award in 1953. So published in 1952 and he got National Book Award in 1953, the next year, and it has been translated into 14 languages, maybe more than that but not less than that, and it was never out of print. Introduction. I am an invisible man. It reminds me, the style reminds me Eliot. I am the hollow man, I am the stuffed man. So here the narrator is saying that I am an invisible man. It is a story of a black man on a quest to find his true self while facing racism and disrespect from all sides. It is not like the self-imposed invisibility. What is self-imposed invisibility? That you will find you H.G. Wells, the Invisible Man. There the person himself wants to be invisible. So he takes certain courses, certain steps, and he wants to be invisible. But it is not that self-imposed invisibility, but it is the invisibility on the part of the narrator by the society, imposed on the narrator by the society, by the white society. And human exists in Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. There is no scope for imagination or fiction or a way towards greater mystery, because this mystery you will find in H.G. Wells' novel, The Invisible Man. There is mysterious quality, but there is no mystery. But because it deals with the bitter truth of life, it is all about human existence and deluded identity, the identity that we are seeking, but the identity we are not given, the identity which are snatched away from us again and again. And that search of identity is described here. There is no mystery, but you can tell that human existence is the most mysterious thing. So in this respect you can tell it is a mystery. And in this light, this novel is a greater product of his time and an important voice of the civil rights movement in USA, 1954 to 1968, the civil rights movements. Invisibility. The novel centers around this theme and this symbol of invisibility. The novel chronicles a black man's search for identity, which ends with the realization that in this white world he is just invisible. The invisibility on the part of the narrator is not only physical but also emotional. So invisibility is twofold. Invisibility on the part of the narrator is twofold. That is, on the one hand, the invisibility is physical, and the other hand, the invisibility is emotional. So physical invisibility, that is, no one can see him, and emotional, that even he is present among his other colleagues, other students, he is just overlooked. And emotional invisibility is that his emotions, his speeches, his words are not giving importance. That is emotional invisibility. And every time he feels this identity crisis in the power-bound white society, he does not find any viable way to fix his problem, to prove his identity in this society. But he tries it again and again till he just lost his way, lost his search. On the contrary, everywhere he is taught to diminish himself, hide, negate his existence. So finally, he gives up and escapes underground through a manhole. It is the extreme point of this novel, that being disgusted with his continuous trial to prove, to fix his identity, finally the man escapes underground through a manhole. What and how much had I lost by trying to do only what was expected of me, instead of what I myself had wished to do? This is Ralph Ellison. Now come to the causes of invisibility. The invisibility is not self-attributed, self-imposed, we talked earlier, or due to any physical deformity on the narrator's part. But there is no physical deformity in narrator's part, that he is invisible. On the other hand, it is imposed by social hegemony. So this invisibility is imposed by social hegemony. What is hegemony? Hegemony refers to power structure. Hegemony, we will talk in details about hegemony when we talk about theory. Hegemony is power structure, that someone will be in dominant power and the feeble, the weak will be in other power. We will always just force them, deprive them. That is social hegemony. And he is invisible due to social hegemony. And here in the social hegemony, there is at the one hand in the upper rung, there is a white people, and the black people is the lowest rung. As we can see, invisibility is the result of failure of white people to understand African Americans as fully human with equal attribution. So their failure is the cause of invisibility. So social hegemony, and at the same time the people who are living, who are inhabiting this society are the cause of this invisibility. Understand? I am invisible simply because people refuse to see me. And that invisibility to which I refer occurs because of a particular disposition of the eyes of those with whom I come in contact. So society and its representative both are same way responsible for this invisibility. It is clear? Two reasons. The theme is invisibility. The first and foremost theme of this novel is invisibility, because the novel deals with only invisibility. Throughout the novel, the black curtain of invisibility keeps knocking on the conscience of humanity. An anonymous narrator is a black man. Under the light of the monopolized white society, he is an invisible man. The invisible narrator has to earn his credit, his hard-earned scholarship at the cost of humiliation. When he got scholarship, even then, nowhere he is giving his acclamation, his right. He has to earn it by making the white people being a term of enjoyment for the white people, making them happy. Through that demeaning activities, he has to take part in demeaning activities to please the white aristocracy. He was forced to fight a battle with other blindfolded black men. In addition to that, they are forced to scramble over electrified rags. Just go for the part in the book where the black men are forced to go to the electrified rags or mats to collect copper and gold coins. They are given copper and gold coins for their buffoonery, the show of buffoonery they are forced to do. And after then they have to collect those coins from the electrified mat. Do you understand? How vicious, how cruel these are, these practices. The white people don't take them as person, as a human beings. And this search for identity. In a society torn up in complex racial barbarism, one's identity gets lost again and again. A black man always has to live and identify himself by the values and expectation imposed on him under a certain prescribed role. So they had no self-righteousness to live. They are given a certain prescribed role and they have to live in that role. Fake institution. Even in here, you will find that to the brotherhood, there is fake institution that promises their upliftment, but ultimately they are just the playthings of white society. All through his life, the narrator comes across a series of communities like Liberty, Pence Plant, Brotherhood. These are the societies, the institutions for backing up the black people. But in reality, these societies are dominated and navigated by the white society. The refusal. Embittered by the world of color disparity, the narrator took refuge in an underground cell, avoiding all the illumination of so-called society. So this part is symbolic and this part is almost pathetic. Actually, I think that this part, the author write this part totally as a symbolic representation, that there is no hope, there is no light in our society, and that darkness, that hopeless situation is represented by the underground cell. In the original world, he always faces the stereotypes of demonizing a black man's identity, so he gave up. But there is the hope at the end with his return. Finally, in the end, he determines to come out of his hibernation cell to mark his contribution to society. So there is some hope in this novel, I think so. Even hibernation can be overdone. Come to think of it, perhaps that's my greatest social crime. I have overstayed my hibernation. Yes, I have tolerated much. I must speak out now. Since you go on tolerating, there is no help. So he is saying that I have tolerated much. I have overstayed my hibernation. Since there is a possibility that even an invisible man has a socially responsible role to play. Yeah, it is his crime that he did not protest. He tolerated, he searched. But he has to show his voice because he has some social responsibility of his own as a human being, even when others acknowledge it or not. Have a look at the major characters. Invisible man. This line is very fantastic. I was looking for myself and asking everyone except myself question which only I could answer. So how spiritual or how deeply motivated these lines are. This is all not only for the invisible, this is all for all human beings. We are looking for ourselves. We search our identity in the eyes of others. We ask the questions to others except ourselves. What is the answer? So don't get answer. This also happens with us. Mr. Norton, white philanthropist, the Reverend Homer, Dr. A. Herbert. Here is a point you have to remember. He is called Old Buckethead by the students. He is the president of the college. Okay, and he was called Old Buckethead. I am not going details about them. Who are they? You can read here because I have given the full note. So you can go through it and get whatever you want, whatever note you want to make for your exam or whatever you can get from here. These are the main characters: Brother Jack, Brother Todd Clifton, Brother Hambro, Brother Trap. There are so many brothers here in this fake institutional brotherhood. Here is another important point. Brother Trap, an old member of the brotherhood, he gave invisible man a keepsake. And what is that keepsake? A link from his ankle. You have to keep it in mind. A link from his ankle. Mary Rambo is the only character who treated invisible man with genuine sympathy when he became ill. Sibyl Ima, grandfather. Grandfather is very important because grandfather is dead. When the novel opens, the grandfather is dead. Grandfather is invisible man grandfather. But there are some speeches by him I did not quote them here. You will go through the speeches. At his deathbed, keep it in mind, at his deathbed, he says something about the life of the black African people to his grandson, that is the Invisible Man. So those lines give a deep mark in the character of the Invisible Man. You must go through the novel go through those lines. The lines that the grandfather told the Invisible Man in his deathbed. Now aggregate so many aspects. In this novel you will find so many aspects: search for identity, racial discrimination, Harlem Renaissance, surrealism, so many aspects, oppressive state apparatus and ideological state apparatus. Which are these things? We will discuss them in details in our theory classes. Oppressive state apparatus, and there is ideological state apparatus. It is some soothing concept. It is not the direct force or direct cruelty. It is the discrimination or cruelty imposed indirectly through such institution like school, college, religious institution. That is ideological state apparatus. But oppressive state apparatus and ideological state apparatus both are state apparatus to keep control over the subjects. Okay. Symbol. Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man is intricately designed with symbolics. Symbolics, a myth and symbol. The novel is so much complex. I am also at the same time telling you. The novel is complex. The plot, the structure is totally intricate. But you will find that the whole theme is told from the point of symbolism. As there is the boys are blindfold. I told you the episode. The black men are blindfolded and they are forced to fight against each other. And when they in this way entertain the white people, they are thrown some money, gold and copper coins in a electrified rag, and they had to crawl and scramble there and get electrified to collect those money. So this blindfoldness is a greater symbol here. Invisibility that is related to blindfoldness, that we are keeping ourselves blindfolded to remain that we cannot see anything. So blindfolded and invisibility, they are related symbol. Brother Jack, the leader of the brotherhood, has a glass eye. Again, the narrator's invisibility is confused with the black glasses he wears. So the narrator also used black glasses. So you find that the invisibility, that is the only and supreme theme and symbol of this novel, is reinforced again and again through such associated symbols like black glasses, glass eye, blindfold. Okay. So this novel is quite complicated and intricate, but it is at the same time worth reading. You must go for it and you have to go for it.